Betty, are you back in your house?
We are. This is now the third night, I think. Yeah. We came. Amber and Meg stayed without power one night, and then yeah, then we came. We're the
And
old
and
folks, you know.
and your area was spared
Yeah.
the fire, right? Your
It
area
it was.
the fire.
There was. Yeah. It came close. We really depended on some local volunteer firefighters. They made a difference, I think,
Yeah.
or we might have been one of those towns burned up, which were fairly near us. Yeah. Yeah, we were gone. We were out of the house a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
At Ron and Miriam's, right? Yeah.
No, we were. Oh, you don't know Mark and Day Lane. Mark sang on our on RT one night. I
Uh-huh.
tried to rope him in. Yeah, it was closer to home. Yeah, yeah, we stayed with Baba Lovers. It was lovely. Yeah. I don't. Has anybody heard about Patty Curtis? Have you, Jeff? Well, we'll see if she attends.
She was
Um,
there last Sunday. She
Was there
didn't
last
right.
Sunday, but when I
mention
chatted
anything.
with her, the smoke was really intense and the fire's pretty close, so I haven't heard
Uh-huh.
since.
Yeah.
I I think they may have been evacuated. Yeah, at least her husband's a firefighter. I don't know that he's active. I think he's retired. But
Okay.
yeah, boy, around here they pressed everybody, anybody who could do it. The business people, people with big equipment. Any. That was a guy who in a well drilling business. He went up to a home of an old timer here and dropped off six generators. Said, here,
Wow.
distribute them. Just keep track of who has them and get them back to me. And so it
Wow.
was
Yeah.
really wonderful how people pulled together. Yeah. Mm.
How's
We've
Cliff
had
doing
plenty of
over
rain
there?
here. We could spare quite a bit if you'd like some rain.
Ah.
We'll just
Oh, is
FedEx
it
it.
raining? Is it raining there?
It's been raining all day. It's part of
Oh,
the
that's
hurricane.
now you're getting the hurricane now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just been raining, thankfully. So we'll just FedEx it to you.
Okay.
You
Yeah, we
don't.
can use it.
You probably could use it, right?
My
Here.
dad's here.
There.
Okay. This is my neighbor Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
I'll give you another drawing.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Okay, bye. Bye bye.
Quite the
Oh,
collection of people
Michaela,
we have
you
over.
anything to report?
It's real smoky, hazardous smoke. We're not in the line of fire, but about 45 minutes away, they're kind of keeping an eye on it
Hmm.
because it's close to where that creek fire is.
Yeah.
We've got mountains in between, but who knows? They could come over the mountains
Yeah.
and come into this valley down here. But it's just been real smoky, like
Yeah.
awful. Can't breathe. Have to stay
Good,
inside.
good thing that you don't smoke.
Yeah.
They said it was something like equivalent to smoking 8 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 packs.
Yeah. It's off the charts.
Yeah.
It's that intense.
I mean, you don't even need a smoker to smoke fish. You go fishing, just
Yeah.
hang them on a tree.
Right.
Take it outside. Hang it on a
Yeah.
string. You're good.
Yeah, normally I like to hang my clothes out to dry, but with all this smoke, it would just soak it up, and
Yeah.
Oh
I didn't
my
do that
gosh.
again.
Yeah. No, you'd be like you'd be a smoked Michaela yourself.
Do what we do, just hang them all over the house. For all the furniture.
Yeah.
Boy, that is just crazy.
Yeah.
Michaela, are you near Mono Lake? There was a big rescue out. Yeah, did you hear about that? I think
Um,
300 people in all were rescued up, hikers, people who didn't know
there's
that,
there's a place
you know.
called Mono. What is it? Hot tubs or something? Hot Springs. Mono Hot Springs. And
Uh-huh.
that's where they got all these people from. So as the crow flies, it's really close, but we've got 14,000 foot peaks between us.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, let's see. Well, I
But
think the deal was that.
what
Go ahead.
it can still
Oh,
come over, like get in the trees and come down the valley. And then there's Mono Lake, which is probably about an hour north of here. And there was another fire up there also. So we're
I think
learning a lot
as
about
I heard it, there were two pilots, and they were flying huge cargo type helicopters, Chinook, I think maybe. And the forester, the Department of Forestry told them not to go because it was too dangerous. Um, I have a story somewhere that somebody sent me, but they went, and in a few trips they rescued 300 people. They were Vietnam era pilots themselves, and they figured they could do it, and they did.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
yeah, there's a movie coming up, I hope.
Angela, you got anything to report? There's some things coming up, right, on Saturday and
Oh, with the schedule. Oh, so many things going on.
Oh, say
Yeah,
yeah.
so let's pull it up. I don't want to miss anything. So this
can
obviously
barely hear you
Friday is the usual.
with the Gumbar.
Yes, that's correct. So Saturday, Merwan Dubash at 10:30. The Rubensteins at noon. The obviously the Japa is every Saturday at 2, and then the conversation about the Meher Center.
Yeah, 3 to 5?
That'll be 3 to 5,
3 to 5.
and then the usual movie night and what have you. Actually, Adrian's doing a concert, not on Circle Zoom, but she's doing a concert that night,
10 o'clock.
Saturday night. And then Sunday, Rama Krishnaya, Rama Krishnaya.
Krishnaya.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. He's apparently so beautiful to listen to. I haven't heard him before, but
Sunday morning?
that's Sunday 11, yeah, our time.
Yeah.
It's really early your time.
If Ramakrishna is talking, means he is talking on. He is the president of Andhra, total Andhra Pradesh Baba's this thing, and he's also president of our Jubilee. He's president of Jubilee Center as well as the president of Andhra Avatar Mer Baba Andhra Center.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
He speaks very
Wow.
beautifully, I hear.
he's a very good prolific speaker.
Wonderful. So what is he doing in Denver? Is he stuck here, or is he actually
Yeah, he's stuck up. He's stuck.
he's just stuck? Oh man. Since the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
Meher-chan, you're not showing your face today.
I always, because the difficulty is sometimes I'll be listening you, but I'll doing my homework for my court work.
You gotta do
Oh
your
my
homework.
goodness.
Yeah. Sometimes I do Nam Jap. 9 to 10 I do Nam Jap. So most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Marichan, you are the source of all information. You know all the dates. You know everything. Wow. No wonder you are.
I'm just,
Yeah.
Okay.
my inspiration is now Jeff.
It's Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Wolverton.
I told him.
There are two persons whom one is Jeff and other is Peter Nordin. They got fantastic information.
Oh, Peter Nordin, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You want to hear some quotes?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. This is Rumi. Rumi was once asked, is there a way into the divine realm here on earth? He replied, yes, there is a door between this world and the divine. For every person, its size is different. For it has the shape each person makes when on their knees. No one enters the rose garden unless lost in adoration and wonder. No one walks through that door except on their knees. Is that audible? Could you hear all right?
Yes,
Okay.
it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
This is Baba. To an early woman follower, Baba said, I am everywhere. But how can we know it? She asked. Handing her a fresh rose, Baba replied, can you see its fragrance? As the fragrance is hidden in the rose, in the same way my presence is hidden in every heart, unseen and imperceptible.
Wow. This is Rumi?
That's Baba. To an early
Oh,
woman
Bob.
follower, Baba said, I am everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
But how can we know it? She asked.
Sorry.
Handing her a fresh rose, Baba replied, can you see its fragrance? As the fragrance is hidden in the rose, in the same way my presence is hidden in every heart, unseen and imperceptible. And this is from Ibn Arabi. At the level of the world, there is yours and mine. At the beginning of the spiritual path, mine is yours and yours is mine. On the path itself, there is no mine and no yours. At the end of the path, there is no me and no you. Uh-oh, something happened. Cliff, you know, he was lost. He went off a cliff.
Those are beautiful, Jeff.
Yeah.
Love that one, Jeff.
I've got a stack of about probably 700 of them right here.
Wow. 700 Bible quotes. Oh, are those the New Year quotes?
No, these are from all different spiritual and religious traditions.
Are these your cards?
Yeah.
Ah.
So Jeff, do you have you have some fresh cards there, it looks like.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, I could hear, I could hear them over and over. It doesn't matter. So great.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us another one.
Okay, this is for you, Cliff.
Oh, thank you.
This is Rumi. A handsome man or a beautiful woman, in the end, wind up ugly old donkeys. From angel to eyesore in a few years. In human beings, beauty is only borrowed. Bit by bit, God recalls the loan. I've fallen in love with beauty itself. I've quit falling in love with skin and bones.
Oh, so good.
That was good.
That's Rumi.
Hard truths.
Here's Sigmund Freud. Everywhere I've gone in my research, this is Sigmund Freud. Everywhere I've gone in my research into the unknown, I find a poet has already been there before me.
Okay.
The poets get it first.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Payam, how are you? Oh, we got Fereshteh too. Payam,
Yes, hi. Hold on. Let me
anything that's rattling around in your cage?
Oh, there's always something rattling. A couple days ago, I was at work and I was really having a hard time connecting with this parent. And I don't know, it was like something was coming up, like a wall almost, like no matter how much I was trying to listen and be compassionate, I don't know if I was in my head making judgments, I don't know. So the last 2 days I've been really practicing. How do I extend love to this person that I'm feeling such a block? It was like no matter how much I was striving, to get in touch with my love for, like the poem we just read. You know, it's the rose that has the fragrant, but I couldn't smell it. I couldn't. Anyway, so I started to just imagine in my mind that I was embracing her, that I was garlanding her, and it helped a little bit. But it's just interesting that sometimes it's like there's a block or a wall there.
Did it seem like that she has a wall or kind of an attitude toward you?
Yes.
With no a wall with no loose bricks.
Yes.
To kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and yet with your job you have to connect, right?
Exactly,
Not
and it
like
doesn't
you can
happen often. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the parents of the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think, I mean, this is more, I'm just thinking psychologically. I think she has a lot of anger in her. She's angry about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's, anyways, that's what I suspect.
Yeah. No, we kind of talked about that a little bit. Was it last night? I don't know. God. Yeah. I know it's hard to get interested in somebody who is not showing any interest in you. You know what I mean? I mean, that's to get over. I mean, why people put up that attitude is a study in itself. I mean, why do people do that when they could, have a much more expansive, live in a much more expansive world? But it's, yeah.
And I was watching this video of Baba. In 1932, he came to America, and there was that film that was discovered in South Carolina at the university. And it's Baba walking. You've all probably have seen it. And I think it's Purdom who's interviewing Baba. And Baba says, "What's my mission to the West?" And Baba says something like, "To make brotherhood a practical spiritual fact," or something like that. And I said, well, he has a lot of work to do.
Very, yeah. I once asked Esfandiar, who was an incredible soul. You've met Esfandiar out there in LA, right?
Yeah.
I once asked him if he was able to see Baba in others.
Mm-hmm.
And Farshid translated that question to him.
Okay.
And the reply came, this was the reply. I have not yet attained to that high state.
Wow.
Whoa.
He can't get there. Oh my gosh.
I know, if he can't, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it is not an easy thing to break through into someone else as they experience themselves.
Yeah.
To get over into their experience.
Yes.
The mandala were very good about doing that, but you have to be able to vacate yourself and actually get over into somebody else. That's the...
Yeah. And the other part of it was I was carrying it with me, that experience. It was hard to let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's only because of a longing for love in you that would even bother you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That separate, that feeling unhappy about the separateness.
Yes.
It's because love, the love in you, that love does not like separateness. And
yeah. Well, it's another piece of it too, is being okay with Well, like we were talking about it the other night, being cheerful regardless of what Baba brings up,
Yeah,
you know, and not letting it weigh me down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Taking it personally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not to take it personally. Yeah.
But too bad we don't have Alan Manukin here. He can bring up these quotes. He brought up that quote the other day that it's, you know, it's so painful as a lover of God to deal with people's agonizing apathy, their callous,
Yeah.
whatever. There were a whole number of things. Apathy, I find the most difficult. I mean, just I don't. I'd rather have someone being negative than apathetic, indifferent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ganesh has shown up.
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
I found this really interesting poem by Francis in East West Gathering. It's almost like E. Cummings. It's can I read it? It's different. Okay. It's man so. That's like hyphenated. Man dash so. Man so. Self the wheel. Self the hub. To self axle splined. Small self sprocketed to small self. Mind meshed with mind. Man so. But suns were poured for earth, and earth molded for man. And between man and white suns, God stretched a space fan, so that men, cool sitting, could contemplate love's face, and sing for love's ears the song that urges love's whims grace. Men are born on earth, come from other earths to this earth, to cool sit, contemplate, to discriminate real worth from rainbowed bubbles' faces, sea gold, shaped by surf's hammers, and to birth longers sold, discriminate garments seemingness under love's, or maybe discriminate garments seemingness under love's goad, find in dust love's gate, and pass through along the song road. Man so are men for countless lives, until fortune and fate conjoin to bring about the perfect master's grace date.
Okay, Ganesh, I want you to recite at least one of the lines from that poem.
No, it suddenly reminded me of Francis' song. One of the it says, "Down may her song road, carrying no load."
Oh yeah,
Empty hearts we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful.
What a
What
poetry
about
book.
Fereshteh?
I'm here.
Do you have a hafiz for us, just to kind of
Balance?
yeah, just kind of
Jeff, it's been a tough day for me.
Well, open up and see what Hafiz says about it.
Really, I was going to read you The Pain of the Collective Shadow. Should I do that or Hafiz?
The pain of the collective shadow.
Yeah, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who is that? Hafiz?
No.
Fereshteh.
Fereshteh.
I'm not in a Hafiz kind of mood. It's from the Catching the Thread by Llewellyn Vaughanley.
Oh, I just listened to him the other night.
Yeah, he's awesome. The Pain of the Collective Shadow. And here's a quote from Abdul Latif. He says, "All is sweet that comes from the beloved's side. It is never bitter if you taste it with care."
Yeah.
The spiritual path takes the seeker into the very depths of the psyche, where the wayfarer must confront not only the personal, but also the collective shadow. our patriarchal culture has resulted in the wounding of Mother Earth and also in the wounding of the feminine principle itself. A woman howling with anguish and despair, her face hidden by her tears, haunts the pathways of the unconscious. This archetypal figure is not as visible as the ecological disaster that threatens our planet. She belongs to the intangible inner world, a reality we have almost totally rejected as valueless. But anyone entering this inner reality will soon encounter this figure and feel her pain. The tragic plight of our own feminine nature was powerfully imaged for me in a dream I had soon after I began my study of Jungian psychology. I was walking down a street, and on the right-hand side, there was a magnificent new hospital, gleaming white with doctors walking in. But on the left-hand side of the street was a totally different picture. There were cattle trucks full of men and women, reminiscent of those that took the Jews to concentration camps. The people there were unwashed, undernourished, and standing in their own feces. For a long time, nobody had cleaned out their trucks, but most tragic of all was the fact that the men and women there had got so used to the situation that they no longer cared or expected anything else. And he goes on to say, I'll just read one more paragraph. The right-hand side in a dream symbolizes consciousness. We are surrounded by the wonders of our masculine consciousness. Each time I fly in an airplane, I marvel at the technology that can lift so much machinery and so many people above the clouds and fly men around the world. Such wonders are not to be despised, but they have been bought at a price. In our fascination with the world of science and its tangible results, we have starved and neglected this inner feminine world. Feces symbolizes creativity, for they are produced from within. But what do we do with our own inner creativity? Unused, it pollutes us. And most tragic, we have even got used to the situation. The figures in the cattle trucks no longer expect anything else. We are starving, and our hunger is all the more desperate because we do not even recognize it. Then he goes on about a very interesting chapter about drugs and so on. Anyway, he's a very deep person, and I'm really enjoying this catching the thread reading. But yeah, it must be one of those days, you know, getting off on the wrong side of the bed, or the Mercury is in retrograde. I made a fool of myself this morning, you know, inadvertently insulting someone on their birthday. And,
You know,
way to go, Fereshteh.
this Llewellyn Von Lee,
yeah,
he gave a talk recently. Well, it was shown recently that it's all about loving the beloved. He was saying plainly, it's not about us.
Yeah.
Not about us. It's about the beloved. And probably most of us, I know in my early years, I loved Baba for my sake, you know, rather than for his sake. It took a while to make that turn.
But to your point, to really see, know, feel, and treat Baba in everyone, that's got to be that's got to be a very wonderful state to be in.
Yeah, that is no small thing. Because then your world is much larger, but then your responsibility, or whatever you might call it, I don't know if your non-responsibility becomes much larger and vaster.
Yes.
I mean, just
So I have to come incognito.
How'd you do that?
It's
In
this
that house, that
it's
cat.
these virtual sticky thing. It's great. It's perfect for me today.
That's
Love
perfect.
that I can make Betty laugh. That just makes up for everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, it becomes you.
Oh, thank you.
Mystery, lady of mystery.
Yeah, do you see now why I won't read Hafez today?
Yeah, maybe Allen Ginsberg, huh, or something.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mayor Prasad has arrived. Anything that comes up in you?
Lot of jealousy and hatred.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a good one, Meher Prasad. We're all in this boat together.
I mean, the intensity of life today, the outer intensity, can bring up very extreme emotions.
Jeff, you can't leave at 12:20 anymore. You got to leave at 2 o'clock or something.
What's that?
No, I mean, if you leave, I mean, generally about 12:30 in the night. So I guess you have to extend your stay beyond that. I mean.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
just getting good.
I had my nap already, so I'm ready.
Hey, Jeff, I have something from Rumi here if you guys have some time. Yeah. I just thought this is interesting. The title of this is from the Essential Rumi. The title of this is Who Says Words with My Mouth? Yeah. All day I think about it. Then at night I say it. Where did I come from? And what am I supposed to be doing? I have no idea. My soul is from elsewhere. I'm sure of that. And I intend to end up there. This drunkenness began in some other tavern. When I get back around to that place, I'll be completely sober. Meanwhile, I'm like a bird from another continent, sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off. But who is it now in my ear who hears my voice, who says words with my mouth, who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of an answer, I could break out of this prison for drunks. I didn't come here of my own accord, and I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home. This poetry, I never know what I'm going to say. I don't plan it. When I'm outside the saying of it, I get very quiet and rarely speak at all. Jai Baba.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's a Coleman Barks translation. That's
Yeah.
very good.
I mean, in this particular, the book Essential Rumi, I think Coleman Barks did a great job. I mean, he picked really beautiful ones.
Erich once said, he said, sometimes I don't know whether it's Baba talking or me talking. Baba speaking or me speaking. It starts to get that blurred, and doesn't even make any difference.
Well, Baba said that he continuously speaks through us.
Yeah.
But he knows that he's doing that. We are clueless that he's doing that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not all darkness down here.
It is.
I mean, we have an intuition that can kind of get a sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
Not a perfect sense, but a glimpse of a sense.
So true.
But there's a line from Baba that I always liked that Balkal used to quote: "Knowledge is knowing there is nothing to know."
That's a good one. I have to write this down.
Knowledge is knowing there's nothing to know. Because, I mean, what is there to know? An illusion, there's nothing really that important about illusion. It's an illusion. So if you know all about illusion, what do you know? Nothing.
So why do we take it so seriously? It feels very serious.
Yeah. Well, I think that love, we can take it seriously from the ego standpoint, but you can also take it seriously from the love standpoint. In other words, you can know this all an illusion, but love wants to do something in that world. It wants to give love to others. It wants to express love in the world. So that the love part of it is real, but a lot of people think the false part of it is real. But Bob is kind of weaning us away from that. But because we have love in us, this illusion appears real, but it's the love that's the real part of it. I mean,
Really speaking, Jeff, we have to have love to feel love and give love, Otherwise, we just give off the sanskaras.
Yeah.
So, that's the job, is to, bring love in and get rid of the rest.
Yeah. Bringing love, the job is to bring love into this illusory world as much as we can, and that, of course, in the process, that dissolves our good and bad samskaras, but also it's that line that Prakash, to penetrate into the
essence of all being.
Something of by expressing in the world love, purity, beauty, and
truth, love, purity, and beauty.
This is the sole game worth living. Oh, heck, I can't remember the exact quote, but that's what we're here for. But you've heard me say this before. I once asked Darwin about how he came down on free will and predestination. And he said, well, what do you think? And so I gave various phrases. And the one that he signed off on was spontaneous predestination. And what does that mean? The love we have in us is spontaneous. And the film of creation is a black and white. It's the script it's predestined. But through love we can put the colors into this black and white film. So it seems like it's real. Because of love, it seems like it's real. But I remember in my early times with Bob, I was in New York City, and for 3 days, the world was just an illusion. I saw it as an illusion, and it was awful. My heart couldn't invest in an illusion for 3 days. And finally, Baba kind of convinced me that even though it's an illusion, put your love in it. Otherwise, life is meaningless. I don't know if that makes any sense, but love predates.
Yeah, I found that quote. If you want, I can read it.
Yeah.
To penetrate into the essence of all being and significance, and to release the fragrance of that inner attainment for the guidance and benefit of others, by expressing in the world of forms truth, love, purity, and beauty. This is the sole game which has intrinsic and absolute worth. All other happenings incidents and attainment in themselves can have no lasting importance.
Let me see. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But somewhere I felt that this was more of a work of a perfect master. When I read this quote, when I used to read this quote, I'm like, to penetrate into the essence of all being and to release the inner attainment. So I felt it was like a work of a perfect master. I mean, every time I used to read this quote.
You mean we don't have to do that? Oh, good. Oh,
So
thank
somewhere I
you.
used to.
Whew, that's a relief.
Okay, perfect master can do that, and
Well,
so I used to always.
we do it to the degree that we can do it, but it is the sole game that has any intrinsic worth. And I mean, he says intrinsic worth, mean real and intrinsic worth. I think he says, love makes it real. Well, it doesn't make the world real, but it brings the real into the illusory world. What do you think, Mayor Prasad?
The only thing I remember about this quote is that I think Alan Cohen or somebody read this quote at the. This is reading this quote is how they came to Baba and met Baba. I don't remember who it was. I think it may have been Rick Chapman or Alan Cohen. They saw this quote on the door as they were entering this person's office, and they were just. I can't remember who it was.
I bet it was Alan Cohen looking at the door of Robert Dreyfus, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah. And they just, he was just struck by this one quote, and that was basically what brought him to Baba.
Wow, beautiful.
But I know I didn't answer what you were asking, but
yeah.
Truth, love, purity, and beauty. Expressing that's in the world forms of truth, love, purity, and beauty. These 4 words have been used here.
There's a Darwin quotes that in this chapter. So Darwin, at the beginning of chapter 18, quotes that the quote that we just read of Baba's. And then this is what Darwin says: I take this statement, which has become known as the game, as an instruction from Baba to concentrate on the divine qualities of truth, love, purity, and beauty, and to express them, radiate them in Maya, instead of expressing ourselves from our egoic, sanskaric patterns. Doing this helps us to keep our focus one-pointed and our spiritual current flowing. In electricity, the current flows and the wire is only incidental. Likewise, we are conduits. However, we tend to express sanskaras from the veil-creating subconscious, but we are meant to be mediums of truth. So why not let go of the debris in the mind and become nothing but a wire for the divine current, so that the divine qualities can flow through? We then radiate those qualities instead of myopic thoughts. This is our real work. Baba purposely uses the term penetrate in the game. And this suggests effort, that of probing. As we penetrate more deeply into the spiritual realities, we begin to experience an inner life that brings us nearer to truth and also removes veils from the inner states of consciousness. As this happens, we can perceive deeper values within and experience fulfillment at the level of the spirit rather than at the material level. Ultimately, we have to find complete fulfillment at the level of the spirit. So that's kind of the way
From
Darwin.
Effort and Grace that you read?
What's that?
Did you read it from Effort and
Grace?
Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Chapter 18.
Chapter 8. Thank you.
And originally, Baba gave this quote, interestingly enough, at the end of Volume 2, Place of Occultism in Spiritual Life. He says, before this incredible paragraph, which is my all-time favorite quote, he says, occult phenomena are as much within the domain of false imagination as are ordinary phenomena of the gross world. From the spiritual point of view, the only important thing is to realize the divine life and help others to realize it by manifesting it in everyday happenings. Then he says to penetrate into the essence of all being. And so it's that grand finale to this occult chapter.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, here's one thing. When Baba mentions truth, so what I understand truth is that God alone is real and all else is illusion. That is what I understand as truth. Is that right? Or any other thoughts?
That's right.
Well, this is what I noticed with Darwin. When he used the word truth, he imparted a certain measure of the experience of truth. In other words, I mean, you can use the word truth, but he actually gave you the experience of truth by saying the word. I mean, he backed it up with his own experience of it. So it's more of an experience. But go ahead, ask the question again. What was the question?
So when he uses the word truth, when Baba also mentions the word truth in this quote or in this message, I understand truth as God alone is real and all else is illusion. Is that understanding correct or any other thoughts?
Well, the truth is the being, another name for the being of God, the being of the divine. Beauty is, is another. What can I say? It's not a separate aspect of the divine. It's also all fused together. Beauty is another aspect of the divine. Purity is another aspect, and love. They're all really one. But as human beings, we're into breaking it down into its components. But there's no such thing as it being a component. But I think it helps us as human beings to that Baba doesn't just say love. He says truth, he says beauty, purity. It gives us a little bit of something to hold on to from our level of experience. That's my feeling. What does Fereshteh say?
I say we're all on the right path. Thank God.
Thank you, Baba.
Yeah. We're sitting on a treasure which is within, and we're just sitting on top of it. And if we can reach down and bring it out and express it, all the better. But yeah.
Here is something that Kitty Devi in a book One Fine Thread, which is a compilation of her messages, and that there is one thing that is mentioned on page 195. That is, I'm just reading from the middle. At that same night, a question seemed to come from Baba asking, Have you forgotten what infinite divine consciousness is? And four words kept reoccurring. Love, joy, peace, happiness. So, have you forgotten what the infinite divine consciousness is? And four words kept reoccurring. Love, joy, peace, happiness.
Who was that? Kitty?
Kitty, yes.
Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like when the question came to her, what is infinite divine consciousness? And the four words that came to her was love, joy, peace, happiness.
Yeah. I think we might all pick slightly different words because of our nature, but they're all really one and the same.
You know, Baba said, take your stand on the truth within. And whenever I remember that, I always think about, you know, whatever is not false is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
False is basically anything that has opposites. Anything that has an opposite is false. So when we think about, for example, birth, it has an opposite, so it is false. Similarly, any of the other things that has opposites is basically a false. So anything that is
How about God and its shadow?
it's,
The shadow is really not the opposite of the light, I would say.
Well,
It's love and fear.
It's
Fear
shadow. You're right, Jeff. It's not its opposite. But light and dark kind of are opposites.
Actually, I would say creation's light is the opposite of creation's darkness, but light is independent of creation. The real light.
Mm.
But you know, this is, but I think of truth as a place. If we go deep into our heart in the innermost place, we will get some experience of what truth is. I mean, it's deep within, but it doesn't have anything to do with worldly truth.
So I had an experience once, well, twice, a long time ago. And it came very unexpectedly and in a very unusual place. I was making coffee for a client in the kitchen. Did I tell you that experience?
No.
Please share. We'd love to hear.
So, I don't know if I've shared it here. But since Jeff encourages us to share so that this doesn't become a religion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to.
I'll contribute my bit.
Yeah.
So I am I'm making coffee. We had a jazz session with a client. We were designing, and this was like he was ahead of his time. He was from India, and this was taking place in Phoenix, Arizona, I think, or Chicago. And he wanted to design a system where from A to Z, a client could take himself from the initial phase of searching for a property or home all the way through the acquisition process on a website. With, mortgages and insurance and, design of the property and getting commercial contractors. I mean, the whole 9 yards. He was a visionary. He was really kind of a very special man. Anyway, just saying that story to make it interesting probably has no relevance to my experience, but maybe it does. So we took a break and I went in the kitchen to make coffee for us. And as I'm making coffee, I finished it, and all of a sudden, everything vanished. Everything in my experience vanished, and there was nothing but light and nothing but bliss. And I'm standing there in my non-existence saying, why now?
Yeah.
Why now? Why am I experiencing? And now what do I do? Now I have to force myself out of this experience and bring coffee to the gentleman. You know, it's like, so because this came up, the story comes up. What was that? Was that the real light? Was that just a carrot Baba showed me? Was that, what was that experience? And it lasted a bit until I forced myself out of it.
You had to force yourself down.
I forced myself out of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could have stayed. I could have stayed, and I could have just stood there forever, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you kind of, in a way, renounced it in favor of having to serve your client or whatever, serve your, I mean, that's no small thing because if you kind of spend too much time up there in that state, that kind of state, it makes it intolerable to be down here. It's, you know, 30. There's but there's a line from Rumi where he says, if the door of your, because this I think relates, if the door of your soul were to open for an instant, you would see that the heart of every existent thing is your intimate friend. That's one way of describing when the door of the soul, to me, what happened is the door of your soul opened for an instant. And there you have the experience, because Baba says we have a fleeting experiences of union with God. People do, whether they're aware of it or not. You had that experience, I would say. You had that experience. That's what your soul is. You got to see, you got to experience the soul. And so you saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Now then you come back and then you have to work your way from the bottom of the mountain up to the mountain, you know.
Yeah.
But those things are, I think, are invaluable because they prove experientially that we are limitless. We are the soul. Even though we come back to the body and the mind and the heart.
And really speaking, at that time, I can't say that there was anything but that. I mean, there was nothing else.
Yeah.
So there was no scope even for thinking that there's light in others, and there's, you know, there was nothing but that light and that bliss.
Yeah.
So, but then somehow my mind was enough there to bring myself down.
Yeah. I think I told you when I started going to Darwin's meetings, Darwin Gene Shaw's meetings, I went up into states like that I never wanted to end. You know, levels of bliss that was just went on forever. But on Monday, I had to go in and work in this nursing home, in the infirmary part of a nursing home, and boy, did I crash land down, and it was so painful that I decided never to go up. After 3 weeks of that, I decided I'm not going to go for bliss. I'm just going to settle for everyday being happy, ordinary, everyday being happy.
Decide that. I mean, is that something in your? Obviously, it's in your control. Yeah. So it was in your control, and you consciously chose not to do it.
Yeah, even in spite of the atmosphere in Darwin and G's house, where if you weren't careful, you could be in bliss. But I just kind of kept myself down at the level of the street, you might say.
In a way, isn't that what Erich said to you, that to you or somebody, that he, if he would allow himself, he would be riding on the floor in bliss?
Yeah.
So they also held back. They
Yeah.
did not, consciously chose not to,
Yeah.
in order to serve.
Yeah, because otherwise you would become like a must, and you wouldn't be able to, you would be of no earthly help to anybody.
Well,
But it's all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, there are advanced souls who are on states like that, and they help the world.
Mm-hmm.
But Adi told me and told us back in the early 70s, if you're a Baba lover and you get up, become advanced, he has to bring you down. And that involves great suffering. He said, for a Baba lover, it's better to be on the gross plane. That's what Adi said. Adi said, if I hadn't gotten into Baba, I would have been a great saint with a large following. But instead, I've had to suffer the three things: exhaustion, humiliation, and frustration, day in and day out. So he gave up a certain life that he could have had in order to be there and serve Baba.
By the way, this experience was short, not shortly, but maybe about 6 months. No, before going to Phoenix. So it would have been 2 years before I came to know about Baba.
Yeah.
So he did take away those kinds of experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I preferred not having them myself. It was too crazy. Well, Lanita finally woke up, you know.
There she is.
Yeah. About time.
Didn't Baba tell 4 of his mandali to, I think that included Erich once, to meditate, imagining that they are in the middle of this infinite ocean? You remember that, Jeff?
Yeah.
And after that, he told him never to do that, never to do that meditation.
I got something for you guys about this, what we're talking about. If I can find it.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me at all?
We can hear you.
Yeah,
we can
okay.
Shoot, I thought I had it here. Just a second. This is Merwan Jesawala's experience. Oh man, I hope they haven't dropped it out of here.
No, it's there.
About that thing that Dan Ladinsky posted. Oh, Baba.
Was it on Baba Talk or what?
No, yeah. Oh, maybe this is it. I'll just kind of give you a little background on this. Just a second. This is one thing. Baba was going to go into seclusion, and he wanted Merwan and Erich to be there with him. And he put Merwan on one side of him and Erich on the other. And so Merwan says, so the day of the seclusion arrives, and a room at Merazad will be used, and it was especially cleaned in a certain way. And now Baba and I and Erich are all alone in the room. And Baba says to me, Merwan, you stand right here, there, and Baba points to an exact spot that is very close to him. And you just stand there and try to be as quiet as possible. Do not say one word under any circumstances, and try and not even move if you can. Just stare at my hands and face as long as you can. And if you think I am asking you anything, then with all your heart, and as if my life and your life depended on it, answer or respond to God as quickly as you can. So as I said, so Merwan says, so there I am, within an arm's reach of Baba on one side of Baba, and Erich within an arm's reach on the other side. And then Baba began to appear as I had never ever seen him, or never ever could even have imagined Baba being. But right in front of me, Baba becomes something that had no link to human existence. Baba became a divine, luminous being so beyond the human form that I felt I would never see Baba again as man, as a human being. That is, what I was seeing of Baba could not any longer in any way fit into a human body, or have a name except that which was unspeakable by the soul in realization. And as instructed, I was just looking at this, and I can't even look at Erich for any kind of help or balance. Then Merwan goes on to say, I completely lost track of time and space. And just before I thought I could no longer bear such light and glory of the God beyond itself, it seemed, and would soon faint, from this divine effulgence, hands appear, just hands, no body. And the hands were Baba's. And his hands motion or speak, gesture toward Erich, saying, speak Kabir, speak my favorite Kabir. And then again Baba, as just hands at this point, again gestures toward Erich, speak Kabir, speak my favorite Kabir, like the favorite lines of poetry. Then it sounds to me as if Erich, in his ever-perfect poise, which helped tremendously to give me balance, just matter-of-factly says, Baba, which poem you like so many? Then Baba gestures, and again, just as hands are in our world, Baba gestures, just speak Kabir. So Erich starts to recite a Kabir poem. And as Erich is, Baba, to my astonishment, begins to turn into Baba again. And when Erich is finished reciting the poem from memory, Baba is his beautiful, beautiful smiling self. And then even playfully, as a wonderful human being as Baba could appear, he says to Erich, is that really Kabir? And Erich says, yes. Then Baba says, well, that is my favorite Kabir. So, this is Dan Ladinsky saying, so for some reason, and I guess in part, being able to stop at time, blah, 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 let's see, wait.
Jeff, was that printed in Merwan's book?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. They didn't have this material. But incredible. What, that reminds me of of Darwin looking once at looking at Baba. I think it was in the museum room. Baba said to look at me for 5 minutes, and so Darwin was looking at Baba, and Baba gradually removed the veils and everything, and the next thing Darwin experienced is looking at divine love itself. Baba's form had completely disappeared and become the ocean of divine love. And then very gradually Baba came back into form again. So there you have the formless God and the God in form, all in one little session. But it sounds like Merwan had the same experience. looking at Baba, just unspeakable glory and light. Anyway,
I think Tom Riley had a similar experience when he entered the lagoon cabin.
yeah. And there was, what's her name? Bernice Ivory, when she went into the barn to meet Baba in 1952, I guess. Yeah. All she saw was light. She never even saw Baba.
Hmm.
No, that was Virginia Rudd. Never saw Baba during the 1952. Anytime she got around, it was just all light and no form.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think I told you, I don't know if Fereshteh, you were there, but a couple weeks ago when I went into the lagoon cabin, I was standing in front of the chair there in the evening. And Baba, and we've been kind of talking about God in form and God formless in the effort and grace. And people have a little difficulty with that. And Baba gave me this metaphor that the formless God is the puppeteer and the hand puppet is the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say that the puppet is inferior to the puppeteer. They're really one and the same. You know, there's no, one is not greater than the other, you might say. It's the same one being that's operating the hand puppet. So that's kind of like, what Merwan had there. They're seeing, and Darwin, seeing Baba in form and the formless.
But I read this one. But Baba said, right, the God man is more powerful than God.
Yeah, in creation, the God man, the avatar, has more versatility because he's on earth and he can do things that the formless God can't do because he just doesn't have it doesn't have a form to do anything with in quite the same way.
In a way, though, he does it when he's formless. He does it through, doesn't he? Through his spiritual hierarchy that is in form, and through the minds and hearts of his lovers, to a lesser extent, probably to a lesser authority, should I say?
Yeah, I mean, it radiates out right through the hierarchy and all the way down.
All the way down to us.
Do you want me to read that para from Effort and Grace, which says that?
Yeah.
Meher Baba has said that the God-man, the avatar, is more powerful than God the infinite. Being consciously one with the universal mind, he can and does respond to people with all infallible, invincible, absolutely dependable attributes of the universal mind, but with full personal consciousness of us and the creation.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Personal consciousness of each of us basically takes the light of God and with a magnifying glass shines it right on us. Each one. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know if this stuff is a little bit abstract, but it is Baba. Fereshteh got us way off into the soul and the oversoul and all those highfalutin things.
Well, something had to come to my rescue from the depths of funk.
Yeah. No, but Baba's like, like I said, right before your eyes, he could, if you remove the veils, then you are seeing the formless magnificence of God, and then he can just regroup himself.
Well, you know, during Prakash's incredible concert, I have to say it was one of the best that I've experienced on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
I had a beautiful, beautiful downpour of Baba during that song Gopi. You know, and
Yeah.
they did the translations also, which was incredible. I thank you so much for those, Prakash. I put them all in a Word document, saving them.
You know, it's Gopi who does a great job. I mean, he sings with such heart.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
And
you did a good job with the translations. Did you do those?
Shailaja and I did some, but for the songs that Gopi sang, he provided them because he's very close to them. And but he's such a gem. I mean,
He really is. I mean, his voice is very beautiful. And then he did that C-Mob song, the one that Baba heard and gave C-Mod realization because he was so touched by it. Well,
yeah,
I was touched by it. It was incredible. It's like
I somehow missed this. I don't know what time of day was it.
It was a 11 o'clock a.m. House concert on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I hope that it's on YouTube by now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Is it, Prakash? Has it been posted?
I don't know if it is. I never checked. But what happened was initially there was some issue with the spotlighting. You know, I mean, Gopi was using an iPhone to speak into, and he was using a laptop for his, video. So that confused,
Only the first couple of songs.
Yeah,
After that, it was fine. I fixed
But
it by spotlighting back and forth.
I think the Qawwali he sang was just beyond.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
it
I
blows
hope
me off.
that doesn't justify you guys not posting it. You know, I hope it's posted.
Yeah, I mean, the voice is still there. Obviously, it should be posted. I mean, I'll check with Angela. I don't know.
Yeah. Suresh.
Ganesh, you
There's
got any
Suresh
other?
who has joined us.
Who?
Suresh.
Yeah, we see Suresh. We see your forehead, but no eyes. You have to tilt your computer a little bit there. Well, it looks like we lost Ganesh.
Yeah, maybe India is frozen.
Yeah.
No, he's there, but I guess he muted. He just took the video off for a second, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe we'll have a short night of it. And we're still not going to be able to get any Hafiz out of Fereshteh.
I'm sorry, yes?
I don't think we'll get a single Hafiz out of you today.
Yes, you will. I can never resist your requests.
No, they're really... So Ganesh, anything else, or Mayor Prasad, or Prakash?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
This is Ghazal 70.
But you have to take off your crazy mask because it's the sublime and the ridiculous are hard to hold in my consciousness at the same time.
All right. Is that better? No,
you
that
still
didn't
got
go
you
okay.
still got that
I
hat.
can't get rid of these. It's a video filter of sorts.
And the hat keeps kind of bumping up and down, you know, like you got a pulsing open sore that's still pulsing, you know. No.
All right. So here we go. I lost it. There it is. All these windows, you know. And who thought of these windows? I tell you. Was it Microsoft? دل و دینم شد و دلبر به ملامت برخاست گفت با من نشنین کز تو سلامت برخاست. I lost my heart and religion to love, and the beloved started blaming me and said, "Don't sit with me. You have lost your good health." When did you hear that anyone enjoyed this banquet of life for a time, and in the end did not leave it in sorrow and regret? If the boastful candle tries to imitate the laughter of the beloved with its dancing flame, at night he has to stand in front of your lovers and burn in reparation. When the springtime wind saw the lovely face and stature of the beloved, it abandoned the cedar and the rose and rose in pursuit. When the springtime wind saw the lovely face and stature of the beloved, it abandoned the cedar and the rose and rose in pursuit. You passed by intoxicated, and out of cloistered chambers, the tumult of Qiyamat rose to gaze at you. You know, Qiyamat is the pralaya. You passed by intoxicated, and out of cloistered chambers, the tumult of Qiyamat rose to gaze at you. Upon seeing your graceful walk, from shame, the indomitable and proud cedar was unable to stay upright. Hafez, take off this robe and spare your life. There is fire rising from the haystack of deceit and sorcery.
Read that last line again.
Hafez, take off this robe and spare your life. There is fire rising from the haystack of deceit and sorcery.
That's a little more cryptic for me.
Well, the image, let's see. Well, of course, he's talking about, you know, giving up his so-called spirituality, which is donning that robe. Because it will, you know, it basically you're selling your soul. Sorry, this is gonna come out weird, but you're selling your soul to that robe, you know, it's still some kind of a covering over the truth of you being real, you know? So he's always, you know, kind of poking fun at deceit and sorcery being using occult powers.
Yeah.
So since we started about talking about the very paragraph that Baba gave at the end of occultism, maybe he's just kind of rounding this off for us. You know, Hafez at the beginning says he lost his heart and religion to love.
Yeah.
Saying, and God says, why are you sitting with me? You've lost your good health. In other words, you know, you've got to be mad to sit with God.
Yeah. No, we are so lucky that Baba's theme is just love.
I know, right?
You know, all the other things, you know, the corporate world.
Oh.
You know, rising up the ladder of the hierarchy there, trying to get to the top of the corporation.
Or the top of religious status, or a top of anything, top of board membership, or any kind of organization, man. It's dreadful and painful, especially if you're semi-conscious.
Yeah. Prakash, see you.
Yeah, I got to go. Yeah. feeling a bit.
Darwin
Okay.
used to say, I mean, I repeat it many times, but sooner or later, you discover you're nobody. And that is not an unhappy discovery.
Hey, Baba.
When you're nobody, you don't have to become a spiritual somebody or a worldly somebody. You're freed up of one of the major attachments to creation. I wonder, I don't know if I've read this. You might find it interesting if I can find it. This had a
Ganesh, sing while he's looking.
People will run away. I don't want everybody to go off.
You sing?
Many will get to sleep.
Do you sing, Ganesh? I never heard you sing.
No, I'm not a singer. I haven't been a singer.
You don't sing for Baba?
Yes. Leninta, you're quiet today. We haven't heard anything from you.
Lenita can sing real beautiful.
Thank you, Fereshteh.
It's true.
Oh.
Fereshteh, what the heck did you have in your eyes before?
It's one of these things, new things with the new Zoom. It's called video filter.
Oh my God, it
Yeah.
helps?
Right under choose virtual background, it says video filter. So you can choose all kinds of cute things.
It works? It helps?
No, it doesn't help. It's ridiculous. But it helped my mood today because I had to come incognito.
What is that thing on your screen?
I think it looks like a slice of pizza.
I did find this thing. I don't know if you guys are.
You doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh. I don't know how to do this stuff in my computer. No idea. Jeff, look.
Oh, just a second. I got to move this. What do we got here? Oh my God! It's getting toward Christmas.
Oh God. Anyway,
I don't know if this will be of interest to you, but it was very valuable to me at the time. This is back in the mid 1970s, and there were a number of us who were in Mondley Hall, about 20 or 30 of us, and the discussion had been going on for about an hour about the lower self and the higher self. That was discussion with Erich. And then at a certain lull in the discussion, I blurted out with this. I said, Erich, I think what we are doing is dividing the lower self into a higher and a lower part. And the lower part of the lower self is trying to realize the higher part of the lower self. I have a feeling that the higher self is something altogether different. Erich instantly gazed at me with a look of surprised acknowledgement. He confirmed to me that my remark wasn't just off the wall, I had hit upon a hidden truth. Over the years, these words assumed an increasingly deeper relevance in my life. How were these words relevant? That is not easy to explain, and I've tried to describe this in words. Shoot. Anyway, I won't read it.
Can you tell us in your own words this lower and higher part of the lower self?
Yeah. What I realized in that moment is the whole spiritual path, all the planes of consciousness, are really the higher side of the lower self. And the higher self is something altogether different. It's beyond that. And that's why Baba encourages us to go to him and stay out of the spiritual experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adi used to say that the difference between someone on the gross plane and someone on the sixth plane is someone on the gross plane is drowning in 6,000 feet of water. Someone on the sixth plane is drowning in 6 inches of water. But they're both
Drowning.
they're both submerged in the world of illusion.
But what's fascinating even more is the expression Baba used to describe the sixth plane. And he said, it's so agonizing because the distance between the sixth plane and the seventh is like a chasm that seems unreachable.
Yeah.
And that's where longing gets to its height.
Yeah. But
how do we get to that level without experiencing the sixth plane, and just go to Baba, right, bypassing all that agony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you try to serve Baba, Baba says that if you serve him and live for him, you are spared the agony and the longing for the most part.
For the most part.
Because your longing gets transmuted into service to him. That longing, which could get out of control, gets nullified in serving Baba and remembering him. I mean, he says that to something to that effect. Maybe Marwan Prasad has it. It's in the Everything and the Nothing. You guys all have these things at your fingertips. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't remember that, Jeff.
I have it, Jeff, I guess.
I think it's the one, love of a woman or something like that. It's one of the early discourses. A man loves a woman. He longs for her, and when that longing gets so great.
Who is the host of this meeting? Technically.
I think Ganesh.
Ganesh, can you give
Yeah,
me?
I'm the host. Yeah, sorry, I just stepped back and I can get. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, tell me.
Give me screen share ability. Go to
You need
security.
Yeah.
Or you could just read it.
Yeah, but it's nice to find it together.
This really stood out for me. This last line of this small discourse. Lenita, I hope you've got your notepad and pen there, taking this down.
So gonna go click on security.
There's going to be an exam.
Security, okay.
In the bottom. And then allow screen share. Click on.
I got my pen and my notepad.
Is there? You can share.
Okay, I'll try.
You should be able.
And then read it. That also Fereshteh.
Okay, so let me find the one you're looking for.
Keep going. Yeah.
I pulled the nothing and the everything.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, just next one down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hey. Mayor Baba. Okay, that's it. Hey, it's amazing how you guys can do this.
All right, which the lover and the beloved, the first.
No. Go back. Love of woman and God.
Okay,
Page
number
6,
5,
I think.
page 6.
Yeah. So
Love
read
of
that.
woman and God. A man loves a woman who is living in a distant place. His love causes him to be thinking of her all the time, and he cannot eat and he cannot sleep. His thoughts are only on his separation from her, and he continually longs for her. When this longing becomes too great, he either goes to her or he compels her to come to him. This is called ishq mejazi, or physical love. To love God, one should think of God, long for God, and suffer the fire of separation until one's longing reaches its utmost limits, and God the beloved comes to the lover, and his thirst is quenched in union with God. This love is called ishq haqiqi, and is a gift from God. But one who obeys the master, who is one with God, need not suffer these things, for in obedience is the grace of the master.
That's it.
That's so
That's the
simple.
line right there.
That is incredible, Jeff.
One who obeys the master, who is one with God, need not suffer these things, for in obedience is the grace of the master. So that's why we're on a different course. We are relieved of that agonizing longing because we are volunteering ourselves in Baba's cause. And it neutralizes that longing that is unbearable.
This is fascinating, and it's an answer Baba's giving me as well, because I was thinking this morning that really wasn't sure if I was equipped to experience that again.
Equipped to experience that
The,
experience of the soul.
there's a really severe longing pain for a beloved. You know, I just didn't think I wanted to go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've been there?
So Baba and I were talking about that. Of course, he doesn't answer right away, but he answered tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been suffering that kind of longing in this lifetime? Fereshteh, have you?
Yeah.
And like I
This
say,
is a
the
test?
our voluntary kind of effort to love and serve Baba neutralizes that extremity of that experience.
Yeah, Lenita, it was misplaced, but it was still a very deep one. It was not, it was, you know, it brought me to Baba. That longing, Baba finally had to come say, I'm the one you want.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you're pouring your love in a vessel that has holes in it. And no good. Come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
No, it's.
How about me? Baba came to me. I never longed for God. I never longed for Baba. I was never a seeker. He just picked me up, you know. Of course, he got a pity on me. That poor soul, you know, she needs some help.
Yeah, no, you know, Baba.
So he picked me up. Whatever.
I mean, Bao Churi wasn't interested in God at all. And Baba got him like that, you know.
Well, there's the past connection issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
must have had
Eric used to use this phrase. It's interesting. I mean, Baba's the one that gave it to him. Don't become, it's not so much, don't be so much the seeker as the sought.
What is sought?
The one who's
Don't
being
become,
sought.
don't become the seeker, become the sought.
You know, the seeker seeks the sought.
Yeah. And,
Oh, okay.
and,
I guess I am the sought.
and the way I think of that,
Or I was.
the way I kind of think of
The
that,
beginning.
see what you how you would if you agree with me. Say suppose a mother is doing her dishes at the at the kitchen at the sink, and there's a window there, and the two kids are down in playing in a sandbox. Now one of the kids is taking the bucket and pouring sand on his head and kind of doing some crazy things to to entertain his mom. And the other kid is totally absorbed in making this some kind of little town or something, totally absorbed in that. Which one do you think, which child attracts the most, which child does the mother find most fascinating with?
You know what, Jeff? There is one proverb that goes saying,
What's
the
that?
crying baby. There is a proverb that goes saying, the crying baby gets the milk.
Wait, no, I missed that.
Yeah, there is a proverb that says,
Proverb.
the crying baby gets the milk. The crying baby gets the milk.
Uh-huh. But this is, I'm taking a slightly different way.
Yes.
That I think that the child
The
that's
one who makes
absorbed in what in a project, doing something in the
the one who's making
sandbox
the town, little town, he will get that.
is the sought.
I agree.
Jeff, can you repeat your question? I think it's getting a little lost. Describe the two children again.
Okay. The mother is at the sink doing the dishes, looking out the window, and her two boys are in the sandbox. One is taking and putting sand, knowing that his mother's looking, putting sand on his head, and putting messing up big piles of sand and everything, and aware of the mother. And then the other child is making something, some kind of like a little town out of the sand or tunnels and everything, totally absorbed in it. So which child is the mother most attracted to?
I think it's the one who's making the project.
Yeah.
The boy who's making the tunnels and whatever, the quiet one. He was more observed to something.
Yeah, that
and the
child
other one was
becomes
just like
the sought.
the sought.
So getting lost in.
How you spell this word?
Huh?
Jeff, spell this word for me.
Spell
for me this
S-O-U-G-H-T. S-O-U. There's the seeker, and the seeker goes after the sought.
Okay.
The victim and the victimizer. But anyway, that's so that's why Eric said to get absorbed in what you're doing, and Baba can live through you, even if you're not aware of it. So like Fereshteh, when you're doing these translations of Hafiz, you're there, so absorbed in it, and Baba can work through you, even though you're not aware of it. I mean, you can look afterwards and say, wow, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But it's
that happens often.
So the one who obeys, doesn't have to suffer these things. Yeah.
That's obedience?
Huh?
What you just described? That's obedience. We just describe it.
Hey, see you, see you on Sunday, I hope.
Yes. Hey, Baba.
Let me ask you though, are you suffering from the smoke? in Seattle?
It's getting better. It was worse, but it's slowly getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually.
you live in Oregon? Meher Prasad, you live in Oregon?
I
Yeah?
live in Seattle.
Seattle.
Where? LA?
In
Oh,
Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hear they're expecting rains over there.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain today, but it didn't rain today, but hopefully tomorrow because
We'll send it your way because we've had a lot of it here. It can move.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey,
It's
so
still raining a lot now here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if there isn't anything else,
I want to ask, I like to ask a question, Jeff, or whoever,
Yeah.
Ganesh or Meher Prasad or Fereshteh.
yeah.
Who else is there? Angela, she's not here. Well, when the beginning of this conversation, when you talk about the planes, and you said that the sixth plane is the agony before you go to the seventh plane.
Yeah.
So the seventh plane is the last one
Yeah.
before you get God realized?
Yeah.
No, seventh is God realized.
Yeah.
Oh, so the one just below is the agony one. Is the
Yeah.
most suffering, longing.
If you're up on the plains, but if you're down here and Baba's hollowing you out, you don't necessarily experience as much agony. Although if you're with Baba, he can make you feel agony by, like he did with when Balkal wrote all those ghazals, those very longing things. Baba during that period wouldn't talk to him, would just kind of ignore him. If he brought some water, Baba would just put his hand out, his arm out, just give me the water, and he wouldn't look at him. And he created tremendous longing in Bao, and all of those poems, those ghazals, came out of that experience. So Baba can give you an experience of agony just by withholding
Jeff, I need to drop off now.
attention. What's that?
Okay. So I need to drop off now.
Yeah, so do I. I'm going to go. Lanita?
So Jeff, Santa Teresa of Avila was Kitty?
Yeah.
Kitty was her? Oh, because Jennifer was telling me about this wonderful book. I've got to get it. It's Interior Castle.
Yeah.
That Teresa of Avila wrote, and that we are talking about today because she's reading, and she was telling me that how fascinating it is.
Reading it?
The Interior Castle.
Who is reading that?
Jennifer Tinsman, my friend Jennifer Tinsman.
Uh-huh.
So we are talking on the phone today. And she was telling me about this, and I like to get Santa Teresa of Avila. So she wasn't sure if that's the one that Kitty was, but I said to her there was. That was Kitty was used to, whatever, One time she was Santa Teresa of Avila. Kitty David, right?
Jeff, do you think these saints experienced the agony to the extent because they were all serving?
Yeah, I think it gets tempered by the service.
Yeah, but
you're kind of like those, those people who don't tell the pregnant women how painful the delivery is going to be.
Yeah.
We can tell, right, Fereshteh, we had children. So Jeff, the other thing is that Jennifer was telling me that she describes this agony, Fereshteh, Santa Teresa of Avila in the book. She doesn't use the term planes, but she talk about rooms, the different rooms that you go through.
Wow.
And she talked about the whole experience that she had in, going from room to room and whatever was. I didn't read the book. I want to read to see what it is. But Jennifer was just telling me that she's reading and she's fascinating about
Is
the
she
language.
Okay,
Huh?
I will stop the recording because then
Yeah.
if I leave as a host,
Okay.
nobody
Why
can
don't you make me
stop the
host then, Ganesh?